You may want a pen and a piece of paper just because, and you may screenshot slides that you enjoy or you would like to critique. Either of those is fine. Like pushback is totally welcome, but you can screenshot. You're going to have the recording. You may want a pen. You're just invited. So take as much info as you want. Make it easy to use, reuse. Again, share it with somebody. Awesome. Everyone is coming in now. Look at this beautiful group. Happy Veterans Day.
So we can share the recording? Is that what I was understanding?
Thank you for serving. Yes, you will be able to share the recording. It's going to go on the YouTube channel. That's an easier way to share it. So it'll be up there tomorrow. And here we go. Awesome. And can we just see each other every day? All of you. It would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Katie Beth is supporting tonight. If you can, if it will let you, are you getting a little pop-up with admit? If it's doing that for you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can click admit. I can't let go of the waiting room for some reason. So I'm going to let you hit admit. If it doesn't work, I'll just keep an eye on it and let more people in.
Okie dokie.
But yeah, I think we may have like 4 more. Yeah, here they come. Fantastic. So welcome. I'm really excited about this class because I didn't think I was going to do anything at the end of the year. And because there's plenty of other things going on in all of our lives, everywhere. And when I started putting this together for a small group, when we started really digging in to this topic, it was so relevant everywhere and it really just came together. And so my full team has helped work on it and I'm really excited for us to engage tonight. So what we're going to do, I'm going to teach like I normally do on these web classes. So I'm going to teach for a while and then we're going to do some interacting. We may or may not do a breakout room now because after about half an hour ago, I got another juice of energy and I thought maybe we'll do a breakout room and you can also connect with each other. So, so what a breakout room is when we do that is it just puts you into a room, if you've never done that on Zoom before, with people you don't know, which is fantastic. Or it may put you in a room with people you do know, because some of you do know each other in here. And then you have an opportunity to just be you, which could be fantastic. So we're going to like practice out the authenticity here tonight. So we'll see how it goes and what our timing is. And we may end up into a breakout. If you don't want to go into a breakout or you're not interested in interacting, that's okay too. And we'll have like a cutoff point and you can decide to hop off if you don't want to do that. And, so totally volunteer. And then you can listen to the rest of the recording later. The breakout rooms are not recorded. So you can, unless I'm dropping in and you see my face. And the reason I like to tell everybody about that is that the work that I do steps into the vulnerability of our human development, and confidentiality is a really necessary key component for that. It's really, really important. So the part that's recorded is our group time. Okay. Any questions about that? If you already know you need to hop off and don't want to do a breakout room, feel free to message me or Katie Beth. Can you wave? You can do a little private message to her and tell her all of that is fine. Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to get started. So this class tonight is called Align. Not like aligning the stars in a magic way, but really we're talking about alignment within us. The basis of this work that we do in our communities it's wrapped around Clifton Strengths. I'm not teaching about strengths tonight, but 99% of you already know all about strengths because we've done other things together. So when you hear me using that language, there may be a couple people that haven't heard it before, but the strengths philosophy is really this little quote here by Marcus Buckingham, which is, you'll grow most where you're already strong. It is really hard to focus on where we're already strong. We are prone to focus on where we think we're weak and where we need to improve. Not only you, but your employer, your spouse, your mother, we're all on this journey together. How can we make ourselves better? How can we make something better? But truthfully, you're going to get velocity in your goals when you grow and focus on where you're already strong. It's just how it is. Here's a few pictures I just flopped up there on the Canvas screen because I didn't ask for help, but they're nice. They're great photos. You can see the top right-hand corner was, I think, that looks like it's possibly the Real Leap program, which is the next Real Leap is in January. You have to finish the Looking Glass before you participate. That center photo is from our very first Awaken Your Hero, which is the women's retreat that I do with Jean Marie Jobs. The next Awaken Your Hero is January 15th, the early bird. It's in Naples, Florida as well, so it's gonna be warm. And it's a really small group, and it will be COVID friendly. And we are gonna close early bird on Sunday, just so you know. I do corporate consulting, less of that now because I'm doing distance learning, but you can see a few of my old clients from there. And here's where we begin. So the first thing I like to talk about is how you even are listening to me. So I bring the Johari window in to every class I teach because I want to make sure that you're listening with this. I'm going to be saying some things that you've never heard before. Some of you, different times. Some of the things I'll say are familiar, some will be not familiar. And there may be things that I see that are hidden to you. I'm also coming here with an understanding that there's some things that I see that you also see. And I like to speak to everybody in the room. So you'll notice my facilitation style is holding both of those. I'm also very aware there's things that you see that are hidden to me. You may even be a greater expert in some of the categories that I'm sharing, which is awesome. But really, you may also see things within your own life, within your own business, within your struggle, that I don't know what's there because we haven't had that conversation. Others here haven't had it. So there's that. The last category here are those items, the things out in the world that are hidden to both of us. And we want to co-create with that mystery to get to the best result for you being here. The best result for you being here. So those things that are hidden to both of us, we're going to be looking for those. That might be resource. That might be connection. That might be something new, a new revelation that came in as a result of this conversation tonight for you. And I'm looking forward to discovering what that might be. What's the greater purpose of us even being here together? Why would we create the time to do this on a weeknight with massively awesome short notice attendance, which is mind-blowing to me. Really grateful. So the voices in your head, I call those your board of directors. You think a lot. Every time you take an info, you make a thought about it. Our brains create meaning. So the first context that I'd like to share with you is just a reminder of what are your Clifton strengths, if you know them. And you can type them in the chat box if you've taken the test so that you are able to see it. I want you to see each other's strengths for just a moment because it also helps inform you about when we talk about the Johari window, just a little relating point to know a little bit more about somebody because you speak the same strengths language can be really helpful in you drawing out your full vulnerability. The board of directors, here's my top 9 strengths. But like your personality is so complex, you're so dynamic. And here's a list of my top 9. I have probably a photo for all 34 because that's what happens. But literally every talent that you have, when you're using it, it has a certain outcome. There's a certain vibe depending on what you're doing. And so this is just my personal expansion of that as I looked through the photos that I've had taken. Like, how do I use those strengths? What is a picture of that? And in the Spark Your Strengths class, we actually create these together. So some of you already have this done. Some of you need to go back and do Spark. And I think it's it might be around day 6 or 7 that that exercise is there. So one thing I've learned this year, as I've at times focused on my weakness, hello, like how many of you have noticed yourselves focusing on weakness? Like as the uncertainty comes, it's hard to stay in the positive. It's hard to look even at yourself and those around you. It's hard to see what's working when there's a lot that is uncertain and we're not sure what's working. So this is a quote from Donald Clifton, who created the assessment. From this point of view, to avoid your strengths and to focus on your weaknesses isn't a sign of diligent humility. It's almost irresponsible. Just take that in for a second. To avoid your strengths and to focus on your weaknesses, like trying to make your weaknesses better, it's not humility, it's pride. Just let that sit with you. Focusing on weaknesses is pride. It's irresponsible at times. By contrast, the most responsible, most challenging, and in the sense of being true to yourself, the most honorable thing to do is to face up to the strength potential inherent in your talents and find ways to realize that. That means bravely bringing those strengths into the world. And at this moment, sometimes that's a little challenging. There are some things that you can't control. This is one of my favorite quotes that I've come across because, and sometimes I wonder, what is it like to wake up? You see children in that space. They're so impressed with themselves. I could play you like that little video of that girl. You've seen that on YouTube where she's in the mirror and she's like talking about her awesomeness. But let's read this together. So open up and wake up with blazing beauty. Just remember, no one is perfect and you are the most beautiful creature on this planet. At some point in your journey, you may have lost that feeling. It may just be something, it might be words on a page. But also, though that is true, that we actually still, even in our weakness fixing, we are absolutely obsessed about ourselves. You're actually wired for that. We're obsessed. I can't stop thinking about me. Just try that on. Like, I really can't. I'm thinking about, am I hungry? Am I cold? I have the wrong slippers on right now, so I'm present with that. What are you thinking about? Put it in the chat box. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with my thoughts, with my feelings, with my hunger, with my family, with the things that are important to me, my preferences. Can't stop thinking about it. It's amazing. And you're like, what strength is that? And you're laughing at me, but I know you and you do that too. We absolutely are obsessed. You just have to make friends with it. It's like literally you are going to always think about you. You're going to be number one. Even when you think you're thinking about other people, that is still about you. And as you get older, you can know that and then it's fine. And then there's at some point when you're like, well, I don't want to be Karen. As like I learned this year that Karen thinks about Karen a lot too, as I've learned through social media. However, so there's a way I want to kind of control the obsession a little bit so nobody knows how preoccupied I am with how awesome I am or what I need, what my pain is, or what I'm feeling at the present moment. Like we just have to laugh about it because it's true. It's true. I've seen women riding, like bullying people with their cars on the road that are over 60. And I'm like, how does that happen? How does that happen? That like, do we get to go, is there a red tent for this where there's like some class I'm going to take and then suddenly I don't care about anything anymore. It's like, I don't know. It's fascinating to me. But we do obsess about ourselves. So here's a couple questions. True or false for you. You can write your answer down. Let's talk about this a little further. So not even yes, we know you think about you, you're supposed to care for you, you should be thinking about you. But true or false, I think a lot about what people are thinking about me. And here's a little exercise for this. Dun, dun, dun. We're just gonna stop sharing the screen for a second. I love these. I love what you're thinking about. But let's just look at the screen. Look at everybody in here. What are you making up? Do we care about what people think of us? We do. We do oftentimes, but also, yes, we think about what other people are thinking about us. And also, let's come back to that slide. Sometimes we don't care about what people think. There is a button and you can shut it off. And you might not be obsessed with what people are thinking about you. You know, it could be a polarity, right? Inside of that space, but you are present with people observing you and you observing others. You're present with it if you have a heartbeat. It's absolutely occurring. Now we navigate that. You might have had in the past an addiction to people pleasing. There might be something that you think you're supposed to do when people are staring at you. We could go down that whole rabbit hole. But I just want you to be present with it. Just write any notes and in that space, because yes, you're thinking about yourself. You are thinking about other people, but it's really, I want you just to like expand that out a little bit for a moment. Expand it out for a moment. This is one of my favorite quotes, and I love that it's Anne of Green Gables. I haven't seen the new ones yet, but I would like to. But there's such a lot of different Annes in me. I sometimes think that is why I'm such a troublesome person. If I was just the one Anne, it would be ever so much more comfortable, but then it wouldn't be half so interesting, right? Like if you could just be like, you are different things to different people. It's actually not a bad thing. It could be a very great networking skill. Some of you, if you have high individualization, you even create groups of people where you have the opportunity to play a different part in different groups. And those people could never attend a party together. It just would never work if you have high individualization as a talent. If you have high relator as a talent, you'll notice there's some people that come in and then you're like, that's far enough. And they think they're all the way in, but you didn't let them all the way in because you have high relator. But there's a familiarity and a kindness, and they feel all the way here, but you are armored up. If you have high woo, you can adjust your conversation so that you can win over anyone there. Well, if it doesn't work, woo is incredibly triggered. It's like, why are they not interested in me? How come they're not into my charm? I'm so charming. I have so much great conversation. But it's happening all the time. You can adjust how, and you adjust depending on who you're speaking to, what the environment is, and all of those things. So just make friends with it. I feel like that whole direction, we just accidentally made an Enneagram class, but we're not going to do that right now. So there's so much there. But let's just keep going a little bit. It's so awesome. And now we're going to do, and there's a couple people that just joined, but we are going to do an exercise in just a moment to kind of dig in a little deeper to this. How are you holding yourself? How are you holding others? But before we get there, I want to just do a little bit of a check-in in this chat box. This is awesome. Now, I love this. Kelly says individualization. She's tried gathering her different groups. Didn't work as I'd hoped. I know. This time of year, that's always true for me. It's always true as well. That's so funny. Anybody else, what do you notice about your relationship strengths? What do you notice? That's awesome. That's really great. Yeah. We could go through all 34 Clifton themes and look at how we hold people in that space. Okay, so this exercise, we're staying out here in the main room, so don't get lost if you are worried that I'm sending you to breakout rooms yet. We're not there. I want you to answer these on paper. So whatever that automatic thought was, when you thought this was the moment you have to talk with strangers, you can just let that go. We're going to answer these on paper. I want you to write down 2 physical attributes that you like about yourself. 2 physical attributes. What do you like about yourself? I'm thinking about mine. I think my long hair is really awesome. I'm not going to lie. I'm doing mail box color right now, but it comes in the mail and it's from a really great company. But part of me judges, even though this is something I like about myself. I'm not friends with my hairdresser up here in Humboldt, and my hairdresser is in Santa Rosa, and she's a good friend. And I really don't want anyone else to touch my hair. That's how much I like it. So if I can't see her, I'm going to put some organic color on it and maintain it myself. My hair was a thing in high school, and then I chopped it off. And then over the years, it's changed all the time. And now it's just like consistently this length. And I wear my hair the same as I did when I was 16. And we'll just see, I'm 45. We'll see how long I get away with that. But that's a physical attribute. Write yours in the comments if you want to. If you want to engage with others, feel free to write it in there. Let's see, another physical attribute. Let's see. I have really awesome piano hands. They're kind of short, but I can hold an octave because I'm so flexible. I have Ehlers-Danlos. I'm so flexible. I can do octaves on the piano like nobody's business, which is awesome. And so that I'm really proud of my wingspan on the piano. That's awesome. I really like that, even though I don't play as much now. So what are yours? Anybody put them in the chat box? Let's just look and see all of this great stuff. Awesome, Tracy. I like your smile too. That's awesome. Julie says eyes and hair color. Smile and eyes. That's so good. These are people who have lived on Zoom for a year, right? This is how we're seeing ourselves now. It's like we've lived on Zoom for a year, and these are my favorite things. Do I have any other body parts, or do you like I'm starting to just see floating heads everywhere. It's so funny. Yeah. Oh, so now I like that. I have a heart in my eye. Very cool. Kelly says long hair, recently cut it. Ooh, you can sing 4 octaves. That's crazy. Wow. Julie, hair, love it. Shoulders, chest, yay for boobs. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Eyes, yeah, that's so awesome. Really great. Long hair, love it. Love it. I love these. So just notice your energy right now as you're sharing these. It's different from in that thought space of being aware of thought and aware of others in the room. Just notice your energy around when we start chatting a little bit around something positive in ourselves. Totally different vibe, different kind of conversation. And with women, this is such a really important part of connecting. I'm sure you've noticed that. Okay. 2 personality qualities you like in yourself. 2 personality qualities. We could pick anything, but like, what are those parts of you? I had a client tell me I'm charming in person today. And I was like, does that mean I'm not charming if we're not in person? Because this is a problem, because I'm not allowed to be in person with anybody now. So it was so funny. You're charming when you're in person. And I've heard that, like there's a difference when you're in Zoom or somebody's leading, I'm doing all the talking, there's a certain vibe. And when I'm in the room, I'm not always the one talking. I'm actually more introverted. So there's sometimes that there's maybe more dynamic in person, but it was really funny. And then I thought about that. I'm like, I am very charming at times. I can be charming. I'm glad they had that experience. But it's a funny thing, right? It's a funny thing doing it through Zoom. 2 personality qualities. Go ahead and put them in the chat box if you'd like. What are those personality qualities? Ooh, loyal and love, silliness. That's great. Funny and empathetic. Yes. Warm, invitation, inviting. Yeah. It's beautiful. Determined, intuitive. Ooh, so good. Loyal and love hard. Sense of humor, ability to dream big, integrity, enthusiasm, and genuine care for the well-being of others in the world. That's beautiful. Thank you, Julie. Accepting and encouraging. Love it. Yeah, really, really good. Really good. I was born with a love for people. Like I have mad affection for every person I've ever met. Like I just don't see, I have no, that may look like no boundaries in a heart space when I was young. It was like, no, that's naive. But literally, I never wanted that to go away because it's been the most remarkable gift and has taken me to places that I never thought it could. So I love my affection, and I'm thankful for the gift of that in my life. This is great. Thank you, Sandy. Oh, funny and punny. Yes, entertaining. That's so good. That's so good. Yeah. Yeah, we have a few pun people in here, I think. I love it. And Katie says humor and wit. Ooh, and is teaching us a word. Score it. Is that how you say it? Score it? Sensitive and gentle. Love it. Great. That's great. Now add a talent or skill. Stay there a little longer. A talent or skill you like in yourself. You can use strengths language if it's supportive, if it gives you a gate. One talent or skill you like in yourself. And we're getting closer to that through here. Carrie Ann, great listener, awesome. Fast learner, artistic, organizational. Thank God, Tina. Woo. That's good. Tina's so organized, I can run fast now. It's awesome. Decoding mysteries and complex things into simple, accessible ideas. Love it. Love it. Good at directions, figuring it out. Energy healing. Love it, Sandy. Christy, you're a good navigator. It's beautiful. Creative problem solver, not leaving people behind. So important. And Candace sees the big picture. Strategic, good listener. Love those. Love those. So it's really important as we're doing these, you'll notice I tried to stay with positive statements, because even in the process of that, even though there's a lot of, when we're guiding into this space, there's a inclination also, you can hear it in my own words, like it's really hard to stay in a non-judgment zone at times. And people have varying levels of confidence and self-awareness. But sometimes it's really difficult to stay in that positive. And we're looking for validation from others. So in a chat box, it's different. If I had you speak it out loud to each other, some of you would have got shy. How many know that's true? Yeah, you would have been a little bit shy, because it's like almost like I have to, if I just set it here, we're all setting these things down. I can set my gifts here, and there's low risk. If I raise the risk and add connection to it, human connection, then it becomes more risky depending on people's level of learning and understanding. So we decide to be with people in a way, and we mitigate the risk, and that's what we're kind of mitigating, how vulnerable we're willing to get with people based upon that. We're always kind of navigating in and out with our energy and our connection, navigating how that awareness of how others are seeing us and how we see ourselves, just like we said earlier. So now you've just experienced that in real time, like we talked about at the beginning. I do want to go a little further. If you want to go a little further, if you can't go further with us, then you're invited to hop off the call. The breakouts are not recorded, and you can listen to the rest of the call later. And so you're welcome to hop off if you're not open. And there's no judgment for that. I didn't put that in the description. I just drank a lot of coffee. I saw who was coming, and I'm like, let's play. Let's level up together in the vulnerability. So thank you for being here. If you need to go, I'll make sure you get that recording tomorrow. And thanks for being here, and you'll enjoy it. And I'll probably email you tonight with something as well. For the breakout room, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper, and I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing for a second. And we're going to go in small groups. So I'm going to go ahead and pause. Here, welcome back. I love the energy after these. It's so great. Yeah, lots of smiles. That's so great. So let's see. Welcome, Robin. They were in a breakout room. Sorry I missed you. Thanks for coming. So, love it. Love it. So, what did you notice? I'm going to go ahead and turn my music off. If you didn't know that about me, I leave piano music on all day. And my son says it's depressing, and he's 5. So he's like, I don't like sad music. Go ahead and unmute. Share, like, what did you learn? Oh, friendly ladies. Sandy said, yeah. Well, tell me, what was it like, and how did you feel, and what did you learn? What did you see?
It was fun.
Fun.
It was fun.
Who were you with, Julie?
I was with Katie Hurd and Carrie Ann Lawrence, both lovely, glowing ladies.
Awesome. Awesome. Anyone else? What did you notice?
It was too short.
Too short.
I think we had fun.
What I noticed is that everybody in my group had felt insecure when they hit certain topics. They kind of, everybody retreated, whether they were shy or guilty for feeling that, being confident.
Yeah. We edit ourselves sometimes, right? How many of you edited yourself? You might not have, but you know, sometimes we do. Yeah, it just depends on the moment. Mm-hmm.
I always edit myself. I didn't have to at all. Had a blast. I
Oh,
was
good.
with Tracy and Dina, and we had a blast. A really good time.
That's so great. That's a match made in heaven.
It was. You know, I am very editing, so I was not edited at all.
I love it. That's great. Anyone else? Other observations?
It was actually, it was so much fun. Oh my goodness. The energy and positivity that they exude was just like, yeah, this is cool.
Love it. That's great. Anybody else? I don't want to cut anyone off.
Yeah, I thought it was easier than I had expected it to be. I was like, okay, I don't know these people, and boom, Candace starts talking. It's like, oh yeah, got it. Then then Dana's talking. Yeah, totally feel this. So it was fun and easier than I thought it would be. I'm just like, okay, it's gonna be kind of weird.
That's great.
It wasn't.
That's great. So it's so funny when I do a circling. I facilitate what they call circles. So, and I do, like, when you do circles with engineers, this exercise goes some way because, not a lot of relationship builders necessarily. How many of you are facilitators where you facilitate trainings? So, like, when, depending on the strength set, if they're analytical, the needs are different. With high relationship builders, even this exercise facilitates a need. And so it's, that we all have, and especially now when we have a little bit of reduced personal connection. Let's keep going. So I want you to think now about what you imagine your least attractive qualities are. I don't want you to put them in the chat box. I just know they occurred at some times. We make up in our head, these are like blatantly obvious to people. And so then we look for evidence that they can see these weak spots, these least attractive qualities about us. And so we end up overcompensating to prove that those are not so. Or at times, depending on where you are in your career and in your personal development, we pretend we don't have any at times. Like, I'm awesome. There's nothing least attractive about me. It's all attractive. So you could watch, how many of you have noticed you're very aware of things that are not attractive about people you meet in the world? You're like, oh, my little judger bottle just came up and I'm like trying to like put it up in the net because I know I shouldn't judge, but you're a human judging machine. We can't stop judging. We're assessing. When that moves into assumptions or bias, there's other things that are fleshing out, and that's important too. But we just, in our personalities, we are aware of what those weaknesses are. And I just want you to like bookmark that, but I want you to just acknowledge that some of the qualities you find least attractive about you. You're navigating those. You might think they are risky, it's a liability, it's a weakness, or just something you don't like. It's easier to find the things that we find least attractive than most attractive. I could open a breakout room right now and we could select what we find least attractive about the people and do the same exercise. We're not going to do that. That's a different training. But it's just always happening. It's an undercurrent all of the time. Some of you are taking a deep breath. You're like, please don't put me in the breakout room. Some of you would love it because of the intimacy of the other side. You know, you would love it. You would love the intimacy that comes on the other side of that honesty. That again is a different class. Wait for the real leap. But it's just running in there. So when we're like, something is running unconsciously, when you bring it into awareness, it's not a big deal anymore. But if you're hiding it and you're pretending it's not there, or you're not looking it or addressing it or attuning to it and just going, I see you, I know you're like crabby today. And then it releases. It doesn't have a hold anymore, but you got to bring it into the light. So that's why I'm like, just put it down on the paper and be done. So you're not carrying the energy of it anymore. So this is our cleaning house from doing all the positive stuff. There's also other stuff there. Just let it go, release it. Okay. So part of this also in your business, in your vision, in your dream is there's somebody that you think you need to be, that you have to be for your dream to come true. And when we start bringing our vision and our dream in, or how we want our life to be, or what is thriving to you, are you thriving? Then we're more in tune with some of what we feel those weaknesses are. They hold a little more gravity. So that might be something you're navigating. But the light and the shadow are always both here. And we're always awesome and not awesome. Always. If we can take the judgment out of it, then it can just be shadow and light. Sun comes up, the sun goes down. Waves come in, the waves go out. There's all of your strengths have an overuse, and underuse has a certain effect. All of your strengths have triggers internally and externally, and they're always driving to do something. They're aimed in some kind of direction. We want to grab all of that goodness that you are and aim it towards where your dream is. Sometimes you don't know what your dream is, so that can be revealed, or you don't want it badly enough to explore your light and shadow. It's like you signed up for a dream, and then maybe it's not really the dream of the dream because you haven't really figured out what you want yet. So that may be here too in the room. All good. All of those things are good. The other thing that happens is we put masks on. Your mask is a trauma response. One of my masks that I learned, some of these are cultural, some of them are family oriented. My parents have a restaurant. And in that restaurant, we are hosting as young as 8 years old. And when you host, you smile at the guests. And I can plaster a smile. And it could be, and it's genuine for me. Literally, I'm excited to see every human being. And I've always been that way because again, that's that affection. But also there have been times where I smile and am positive to protect myself. How many of you have ever done that? Like, here's my I'm nice, church row, front row, cleaning tables, other things. There was like a certain person I thought I had to be until I was able to grow through that and shake that off. And it's, for me, that happened in my mid to late 20s, where I'm like, yeah, I actually don't feel like smiling. Don't make me smile. I'm not going to smile about that. And so depending on where you are on your journey, you might have other masks, other trauma response too. Your strengths can wear a mask. If you're working with other people and you're on a team, you may notice that there's a certain expectation that people have of you. They love it when you deliver like that. But sometimes, so you're doing it, you're still performative. You're performing. Your strengths are performing. They know that rhythm. It's fine. It's getting it done. But something's off within you, and they don't see that yet until we look at the engagement numbers, and some sign, there will be a sign. The performance will not last. You will know, you'll not feel aligned, all of those things. And it's really good to know, where are you performing? And sometimes the payoff is worth it. And sometimes the cost is not. So holding the payoffs and the costs of that is something that we navigate. That's why we have coaches. Other things, like people who don't want anyone to talk to them, right? Certain face that we make, your eyes do a thing. People are out there commuting to work. They are not interested in talking to anybody. So their armor and their mask is, this is more interesting than all of you. Because I don't feel like talking. I don't want anyone to engage me. Now, the hardest thing right now is with people's masks. I'm trying to read eyes. How many of you are reading eyes out there when you're out in public? I'm like, are they smiling at me? That was a smile, right? And I'm like, and now I'm just like Instacart. Like I can't tell. Like, how am I supposed to be affectionate? Like, I can't give my sunshine with that. Or I've had to be really creative and find other ways to express myself other than this. Earlier today, I put Sebastian's mask on by accident and literally pressed my nose into my face, and it stuck to my cheek for like an hour after. That's how tight that mask was, which is really funny. But the lady knew I was doing that. So we had a moment of just laughter because I didn't realize how smushed the mask was on my face and I was complying. And we just had a nice moment, you know, because of that, which was great. So something authentic. So you find something to relate, you know, all of those things. But if you don't feel like relating, there are ways that you perform to keep people out. Okay, there we go. Enough said about that. This is one of the key components of all of our work today is that yes, you're awesome and not awesome, right? We're all that, but we can hold complexity. You are dynamic. You are not fixed. You are magical and you are lost. You are all the things at all time. Like you can be all of those things in a single second. You are so dynamic. People are complex. That's the beauty of being human. Our suffering and our strength, our weakness and our power, all of that is here. And if we allow the connection or can go and take a risk with people, we're invited into their complexity. To me, there's no greater meaning in the world than somebody inviting you into a non-judgment zone within them. They're trusting you to hold their complexity and their humanness. Nothing better than that in my world. Nothing better. Without speaking even at times. I am aware I have great privilege as a white woman in our country, in this world. I have great privilege that I'm born into. I have great disability also. Of both of those, right? I can hold both. You all have privileges and disabilities also. They're great. It's not fixed. We are so many pieces of this as humans together. You see both, I see both, they see both. Like we're all seeing it, it's all here. We have to stop resisting what's here and the humanness of this so that we can really connect. Is there no text on this slide? It's just an awesome picture of me. Fantastic. My sister-in-law took that. I love that they threw that in. Some of you, it's so funny. Maria's here. Maria knew me. Let's see. God, my years was this. I think we're going like maybe back to 2007 or 2008. Has it been that long? Maybe 10 years? Yeah, 15 years back. And I was at the highest pain of my life at that point, and in and out of treatment and divorce, breakdown, so much suffering. And Maria and I would sing together once a week around a piano with a few of our friends that were suffering a lot. And we'd sing, we'd pray. And like those people that you can go to the deep with in those levels of being at those weakest hours are, it's just a beautiful thing. There's like touch points, you know, throughout our lives. I want you to think for a moment of those that have held you in your suffering, that have held you when you couldn't perform. Where were those people? Where are they now? It's like no accident Maria's here now. Like as like this is like it's a full circle thing. I still live with a great deal of pain, but it has not returned to the pain that it used to be. I don't need a cane. I don't need a wheelchair. And I feel very fortunate to that. I woke up this morning with a little extra Bell's palsy in my face, so I felt it drooping. And old me would have been preoccupied with that at different times in the day. Now I just notice my skin feels weird, and I'm okay with the droop. Like if I get the droop, I get the droop. And I've, so it's really interesting for all of us in our stories and how we relate in our bodies and all of those things. I think, and Carrie Ann here is a nurse practitioner. And so I think of like the health privilege for a moment, just because there is a space, as I used to hold people, I was in the room with them when they died, especially if they didn't have a family. I worked at a hospital in my 20s in social services. And there's something about being with people in that vulnerability that drew out part of my strength that I didn't know was there. And I want you to think in your sphere right now, who do you know where you get to be invited into that humanness of both of those? And what part of your strengths is drawn out in the vulnerability of those around you? That's another dynamic that you have. We love to talk about the dynamic that helps us build visions and build people, but the dynamic that supports the vulnerability, that empathy, the witnessing, where does that play? Really also another side to this equation here, on the beauty of who you are. A couple more here as we close. This is our mantra in our groups from Strength Strategy. I know what I am, I know what I'm not, and both are okay. I work with a lot of women and young women who need this. They're not feeling okay on the inside. We have programs for people who are brand new to personal development and leadership for those who are already there, but want to help equip, others in a more beautiful and meaningful way. But I know what I am, I know what I'm not, and both are okay. When you stop resisting the vulnerability, things move. I'm wild and I'm cautious. I am. You are too, right? I meditate all the way, closed transcendental meditation, reduces my pain. I can do that. And I love to dance. You put some music on, I'm going to karaoke till the cows come home. You just pick a song and I'm going to do it. Not Eddie Money though, because that was like too soon. But like figure out like what is your karaoke song if you sang karaoke? And then when you're meditating, what does that part of the dynamic of you look like? Do you hold your confidence as equal to your vulnerability? Do you view your vulnerability as a resource? It's hard. Sometimes you view your confidence as a liability. Some of you have felt that. There's a lot of guilt and shame from being successful, from being easy. When things are easy, you're like, oh, whoa, that was easy. I better not shine because I want everyone to shine. Like there's ways you edit yourself when it's going well. Also, P.S., this is a really big thing, the more successful your business gets. And in the vulnerability, there are some people who judge the confidence in others because it doesn't feel authentic. If they can't touch it, that's just a judgment. And it may be because they don't know what their confidence is, right? They feel lacking, but it's there. In our group, we have a motto of balancing both of those, that confidence and vulnerability. And I believe it's genuine. I believe confident vulnerability is authenticity. It's empathetic, it's present, it's engaged, it's generous, it listens. And I believe it's full of grace for others. Because this is that awareness of all of the dynamic, and I'm observing my dynamic and your dynamic, and I don't judge you for being dynamic. I'm curious about it. I'm inspired by it. I wonder why. Where'd you come from? What'd you learn? Tonight's class is an intro, of course, to the Align program. We're going to get so detailed into the dynamic because I need a pause, and some of you need a pause too. I need a minute. I need a minute. And I'm like, I've been less curious. I haven't had time to be curious about my dynamicism and how it's adjusted. I changed this year a lot. I'm really glad. I'm really glad. Are you glad? Like what was the fruit that came? So I have thousands of character traits, and we're going to play with these and have fun. We're going to look at how we judge them, how we love them. Some of them we're going to have to Google because we're going to be like, what is that? And we're going to wrestle with our dynamicism and align. We're going to get curious about how that shows up in others. And because we're all going together, we're going to reduce the judgment everywhere we go, because you'll have had such intimate conversations with people about this that when you go and meet other people, like you have a new capacity to hold their wholeness and their messiness. It's going to be beautiful. And it could get weird, right? Because we're people. So there's a whole category of people who miss out by not allowing themselves to be weird enough. Like, where is your awkward, weird, like bring it. Bring it. That part, I'm so interested in what makes people laugh, what show. They, all those Facebook quizzes that you guys post, I'm like, I take them all. Like, they're like, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, yeah. Like, what series are you're like binging right now? I don't watch TV very much at all. I watch The Walking Dead, though, religiously, and have since it came out. Every single Walking Dead show, zombies, I watch it by myself. Does anyone else here watch it? Don't make me be weird. Come on. Bring your weird out. I have to watch it. I used to have night terrors from the pain was so bad. I would have night terrors that the zombies and bears were eating me. So by watching that show, now I'm like, oh yeah, they're fine. I know exactly what to do. And when the apocalypse happened last year, I was so ready. I had my pantry ready. I know what to do. I know what my strengths are. I know how to organize the community. I can read people. So like whatever your thing is, like what is that surprising thing about you that people wouldn't expect? And please don't tell my mother that I'm watching the zombie. I don't think she can handle that. And the other thing also is like our children, like what we notice, we get irritated by, we have 4 adult children and a 5-year-old. And I hear him and I'm like, oh, why is he doing that? I'm like, hello. That is because I do that. And when I'm out in the world and I see him like, what are they doing? It's like, because you do that. Like, it's just always true. So we have to just understand that it's always an opportunity to get curious. Well, your judgments are an opportunity for you to be like, oh, where is that living in me? It's just, I saw this image. I'm like, this is so today. If you saw my live video in the Strengths Garden, you know what I'm talking about, because my son was there and had something to say. In the program, we're using this as a wonderful guideline to kind of help us dig in a little bit more. So we're getting into Carl Jung's work, and he was a Swiss psychiatrist. He's so great. This is the dynamics. We're going to use this as a framework to help us dig deeply in just 3 workshops. So what do my strengths look like? Who am I when I'm in control? Who am I when I'm at service? Who am I when I'm at belonging, at pleasure? What does pleasure look like? Do I have shame when I talk about pleasure? What's my relationship with pleasure? Intimacy. Being a hero, how do my strengths look like when I'm a hero? When I'm a magician and I just make things happen. When I'm an outlaw and I'm not maybe acting out of fear. So all of these looking at our impact, but we're going to go meticulously through, and you'll have an opportunity to explore on a deeper level. Why am I using this? Well, because everybody, you've seen this before if you're here, people want to be free and they want to be productive and they want to build a dream. And depending on where you are in the journey, there's times where you doubt yourself. There's times it's hard to stay with your strengths. There's emotional intelligence and all of those things. That's really great, but we don't necessarily spend enough time expanding on those in a way, like the strengths language is limiting because it's limiting. There's more than that. It's a great start, but you're complex. So this is why we're using it to bring in a little bit more detail. And then this is also true. There's been several studies, but 95% of people believe they're already self-aware, but they found the real number is 12 to 15%. This is bad news, ladies. This is bad news. It's bad news because many of you are already thinking of people in your world that you know are showing up without listening, and they think they're the 95%, and you are aware that they're missing you. You are aware of the weakness. You see it in them and in yourself at times, right? So knowing that I'm never as fully self-aware as I think I am, I'm only as self-aware as the mirror around me. I can't do it on my own. I can't do it in a silo. I need you. We need our community. We need our Looking Glass community, our strengths community to help mirror that so that we can grow. It's the fastest way to growth. We need community. That means to help us slow down and give words to the internal and question the internal, question your perceptions of you and others. And then the external, getting help to observe and where those limitations are. We have to have each other for that. So the class is this Sunday at 4:30, the following Sunday at 4:30, then we take a break, and it's on December 6th at 4:30 Pacific. So 3 workshops. The first one, it comes with a workbook. The community is, all the people that are registering for it. You're going to have to do some homework in between to really stay with yourself for a bit, and you'll be able to work together on that. The second class is co-working, and the third class is you sharing the exercise with the group. And we're going to dress up, and it's going to be a holiday party, and it's going to be awesome. So, and we may sing, we may do karaoke. I haven't decided. I haven't figured out how to do that in an awesome way on Zoom yet. But anyway, so it's progressive to support you with the mirror and to slow down and do the exercise. The workbook is gorgeous. It's going to be fun. It's going to feel like friendship. It's something you can bring a 14-year-old girl to and your 94-year-old grandmother, literally intergenerations. It's going to work for that. We're not talking about teams and leadership. This is all you. It's us as sisters. Different vibe than the other classes. It's all about that curiosity and that expression and that positive space. And oh yeah, I said that earlier. Don't forget expiration on Sunday for the early bird for that. And I think that's it. So let me go ahead and put the link in the chat box here if you want to register. So it's just 2 payments of $97 for this type of program. In our community, this is the reason we kept it so low, and there's scholarships. So if that's even too high, we'll work something out. I don't want anyone to not get to go. And the reason that we're keeping it affordable and in that space is because we want as many people to come as possible. So we have lots of scholarships, and your needs matter. So please let us know. I'm considering, this is a beta for this, in that I may want your feedback, and I'm deciding if this is something that I'm able, does it always have to be done live? Are there other people that could facilitate it? Do I want to put it in Kajabi? So these are things I have to figure out, because I already have the Looking Glass and the Real Leap, run me full time. So this is because it's beta, because I haven't decided the best format for it. And we're going to normally I do this in a retreat setting. We're going to do our best. And so this is, so that's the opportunity. Let me see if I can pull the link over, and then I'll take questions. I'm so thankful that you all came. Here we go. There you go. There's the link. You can sign up. The workbooks will be released. It's dripped out. So Sunday morning, the workbook will come, because I don't want you in it before we start. But if you want to print it, and get a binder together, there's lovely journal pages. You're going to need some highlighters, a journal, and this printable PDF, and that's it. And you may want markers. You may decide to do some art with it. You can play, bring all your bring all your pens. Corey and I have a pen fetish. So I think she's winning. But I feel like I could game up on that. Anybody else collect pens? I want pictures of your pen piles, ladies, because yeah, it's a thing. It's an absolute thing. The only thing I like better than pens is easel pads, because I can just paper my walls, and that's like my happiest day is easel pads and markers. It's my best life. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you all for joining. Any questions, any sharing, anything? Feeling good. Awesome. Very cool. Well, I look forward to seeing, I know a lot of you have already signed up, so I look forward to seeing you Sunday. It's going to be a blast. And I'm looking forward to knowing, I'm so massively curious. I'm so massively curious about what emerges from us taking the time into that detail. It's going to be epic. So we've never taken the detail. We've never sat with each other in the detail because we've always led with the Clifton Strengths, which is a little more general. So super excited. Big thanks to Katie Beth. Thanks for co-hosting and managing the room, and to Tina. And big thanks to Julie and Jessica for help designing the PDFs that are in there, and Audrey, who's not in here, supporting the video content. We have a wild team. I think we're up to 7. And so you'll be seeing massive amounts of content coming out. And yeah, we're just super, super stoked to have everybody with us. So thanks again and have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.